business has been classically very competitive, and possibly maybe you'd agree that men are competitive by nature. I found it really interesting that you said, yeah, part of your philosophy, part of your nature is indeed more independent, because that was kind of where you grew up and where you learned leadership. But business today is moving towards being more collaborative. And another broad generalization is that women tend to be more collaborative kind of in the way that they're thinking and the way they approach problems. I come from a business background focused on blockchain and blockchain systems. And we always talk about this magic word co-opetition, where you're cooperating or collaborating with your competition. And that's so important to build the framework for a good blockchain network. So the question is, what changes do you think organizations need to make to get ready for a shift from only competition to selective competition and more collaboration?
I think incorporating a lot of the pieces in my book will really help. It's and honestly, in the environments that I've been in, this a collaborative competition has been around for a long time. And maybe it's because it's the nuclear power industry, where I originally got started is very small, right? It can't hold very many players. And so there has been for years collaboration between some of the big companies that do this kind of thing. I've been on many technical exchanges where it's like, okay, you're going to go off and evaluate their technology, and they're going to evaluate our technology, and then we're going to see where we might do some mutual development.
Of course, when it comes to nuclear power stations, it's the kind of thing you can't get wrong, so you need to work together.
Yes, it really is. We've seen what happens when it goes wrong, right? We've seen it happen a couple of times. And so you really have to get it right. And so that model is not new, but it isn't used very much. And there is a deep, one of the Silicon Valley companies that I worked for, I was absolutely blown away. And I was talking to somebody at the company, and I said, do you know that we spend 50% of our time talking to each other about competing things and internal things that don't make any difference to our customers, and interdepartment wars and all this craziness, right? And I said, imagine what would happen if we focused all our time on serving our customers' needs instead of all this internal BS. And that person looked at me and said, well, criminy Karen, we're a $1 billion company. We're a $10 billion company. And I said, yeah, and imagine what would happen if we, if we actually focused all our energy on getting stuff done for clients instead of screwing around internally with each other. It would free up an amazing amount of resources. But as far as I can tell, that company's still doing the same thing, right? It's, it's still, it's like, wow, it's all right here, and you just walked right over it, right? But we've seen that time and time again, right?